You know, as a pretty technical guy who's been working in the home comfort business for 40 years, I think AeroSeal's absolutely awesome. It is hands down the best way to seal up leaky ducts. And if you're in the trade, I bet you're excited about it too. However, when we tell our homeowner customers about AeroSeal, they don't always immediately share our enthusiasm. Skepticism and the eyes glazed over reaction are unfortunately all too common. Here's the fundamental challenge. AeroSeal is an invisible solution to an invisible problem that homeowners don't even know they've got. Educating homeowners about the need and value of duct sealing can be an uphill battle. The good news is selling ain't hard when you know how. In today's lesson, you're going to learn one of the big secrets, a communication technique that's kind of like flipping a switch in the homeowner's brain for an instantaneous, aha, I get it, reaction. Hey, what's up guys? We've all heard the saying, seeing is believing. When it comes to AeroSeal, this raises a fundamental problem. AeroSeal is an invisible solution to duct leakage, which is an invisible problem. So, how can we make the invisible visible? How can we persuade our homeowner clients that their ducts leak? How can we persuade them that duct leakage is usually the major cause of their discomfort, unhealthy air, and high utility bills? How can we persuade them that AeroSeal is the best way for them to solve these problems? If you just tell your customers that they have duct leaks and would benefit from AeroSeal, they're often very skeptical. And if we tell too much and get too technical, their eyes glaze over, and a confused mind does not buy. Or they may partly believe it, but have a hard time justifying the significant investment needed. People are much more likely to believe what they actually see. Our brains are wired for images. Even a man as smart as Albert Einstein found this to be true. He once said, "If I can't picture it, I can't understand it." That's why it's so important to always show your customers at least some of their duct leaks and symptoms of duct leakage, like dust staining on the insulation wrap. Even better is to make the air or heat flow visible using handheld smoke or thermal imaging. And while it requires a little more time, pulling out all the stops to do duct leakage and airflow testing can be a super effective visualization. And when it comes to the actual AeroSeal process, visual props like this window screen sample are great, as well as video clips and printed sales collateral and third-party proof to get the message across. We'll cover all those involve the eyeballs methods in future lessons. Today, we're going to discuss a different way to make duct leakage visible, and that's to use your language to paint word pictures in the customer's mind. There's an ancient proverb that says, "A good orator makes us see with our ears." The mind thinks in pictures. One example of creating pictures with words is using analogies. An analogy is a comparison between two things, the new concept to the one they're already familiar with. The two key words in the analogy template are kinda like. For example, to explain air conditioner efficiency, we in the trade routinely teach the customer that SEER is kinda like miles per gallon, but for air conditioners. And just like with cars, the bigger the number, the more efficient it is. And the slower the meter spins, and the lower your electric bill is over time. Analogies are a great way to translate new and complicated information to lay people by relating a technical fact like SEER to something they already know, understand, and accept, like miles per gallon. We'll come back to miles per gallon when we talk about automotive analogies for AeroSeal. Whenever we use analogies, we're helping the client learn quickly by creating images in their mind which create emotions, which leads to action. Using analogies also helps simply because it's a way to build trust and likability. Homeowners really appreciate it when we use clear and effective communication at the level they can immediately understand. It's literally the KISS principle in action. Keep it simple, stupid. Analogies also keep the customer's attention by adding some spice to the conversation. There are many analogies we can use to explain duct leakage. Most fall into these three categories: water, medical, and automotive. For a great introduction to AeroSeal and duct leakage analogies, let's now watch one of my favorite TV segments on AeroSeal, featuring the contractor host, Mike Holmes. Pay attention and see if you can identify the three analogies used in this minute-and-a-half show.
Most homeowners don't think too much about ductwork, but they should. Ducts are like the veins in your home, taking warm and cold air to every room in the house. When there are leaks in the ductwork, the air doesn't travel well at all, so many of the rooms aren't heated or cooled properly.
In simple terms, if you took a 100-foot garden hose and you put 50 holes in that garden hose, how much water do you think is actually coming out? Next to none, right? You fill all those holes, and all of a sudden you've got the pressure at the end of the hose where you're expecting it to be. Ductwork in a house works in exactly the same way.
And if you give it a ton of holes, which we have in all the cleats and all the joins,
there's leakage.
Today, we're going to use an aerosol sealant that blocks most of the leakage. You're going to block all the registers, and you're going to force that sealant into all the ductwork, and wherever the escapes or the leakage is, it will fill those holes.
That's right.
Let's push start. Already it's sealing leakage. It's going in the right direction. It's going down. After about an hour, the sealing is complete. So it was leaking around 50%. Where are we at?
We got it down to 97% reduction in ductwork leakage.
97%. That's sealed. You feeling better?
So, did you get all three analogies? The first is when Mike Holmes says that ducts are like the veins of your home. A nice variation on the veins and arteries is to simply say to the customer who's either planning to buy a new heating and air system or bought one relatively recently, you know, Bob and Betty, having leaky ducts, it's kind of like having leaks or tears in your veins and arteries. Think about it. Connecting a new high-efficiency heating and air system to low-efficiency leaky ducts, that's kind of like having a heart transplant but leaving the veins and arteries hemorrhaging. Analogy number 2 in the Mike Holmes show is when the dealer, Joe Lane, compared leaky ductwork to a leaky garden hose. Finally, the third one is when he compares what happens when you seal a garden hose leaks to get more airflow after sealing the ductwork. Water analogies are really great. Water is much denser and, of course, is actually visible. In addition to garden hoses, there's a bunch of other water-based analogies you'll learn in this course. Leaky hose washers, leaky plumbing pipes, leaky sewage pipes, leaky straws, and trying to carry water in a leaky bucket, and even more. Using analogies and telling stories are some of the most effective ways to have conversations with buyers. Together, they have faster and deeper impact, they slow down their thoughts, and they cause better interaction. The next step is for you to practice these talk tracks in chunks using the accompanying Windshield University audio review file. Practice, round off any rough edges, tailor them to your personal style, make them your own. Then role play them with a partner or your spouse until they come out naturally. And then start using analogies to quickly flip that switch in your customer's mind and have more effective communications. Thanks for being an AeroSeal dealer, and we'll see you the next time.